It is another episode of Tarot by Hilary Live. I am your hostess with the mostest, Hilary of tarotbyhilary.com, professional tarot reader, demystifying the mystical and putting you in touch with the most beautiful of gifts, your own intuition. Because yes, my friends, do not argue with me. You have intuition. So tonight's episode is the final episode of 2021. I know. I can't believe it either. It's true. We're there, folks. Considering the fact that there is, let's see, Christmas Eve, I think is next Friday. And then the Friday after that is New Year's Eve. So that means that our regularly scheduled broadcasting time, most people are not going to be around. So I am planning accordingly. And the next time we will meet will be Friday, January 7th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the first episode of the new year 2022. And like I was saying, I think last episode or the episode before it, I'm just like, yeah, that's not real. That's not a thing. It's not 2022. That's just not real, right? But it is. We are embarking on 2022. So if you're one of those people that just got used to writing 2021, sorry, now you have to get used to writing 2022. And I'm one of those people, by the way. So Katie is here. Hello, Katie. Nice to see you. Yeah, time to rest and be with family. Hopefully, yes. I mean, unfortunately, there has been an uptick in COVID cases. I don't know if it's necessarily the Delta variant or the Omicron variant. Who knows? Stuff's going around. And so I don't think we're out of the woods yet. Pandemic is still going on and we can make plans all we would like to. But I mean, this is the lesson of tarot sometimes and life sometimes. You know, you can make the best laid plans that you can make, and then things come along to derail your plans or make better your plans one way or the other. So we can plan as best as we can. And actually, I said this in one of the episodes that I've done in the past where I talk about, you know, the different rituals that we plan, especially for the Sabbath series. And this is an episode, part of the Sabbath series for Yule. We'll get to that after we do the astrology. You know, you can make a plan and you can make a script and you can have an idea for a ritual, but then spirit will come through or deity will come through and they'll have their own ideas and it will be what it is. So, yes, I guess, Katie, you saw that meme as well, as long as it isn't 2022 and as in as well, or two as in TOO. I saw that meme too. Or as well. And yes, you be safe. Everyone watching right now, be safe. Take the necessary precautions. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? We do have our plans. I do have plans to see my sister and my mother, and you know, go have Christmas dinner with them. But you know, if there's an uptick and people aren't feeling comfortable, then it'll be what it is, and we'll have a quiet Christmas at home or Yule at home, and make our own plans. And we can use technology. I mean, we're coming up on, let's see, we're coming up on 2 years. And I did do an episode in 2020 about how to do online readings for this weekly show, these weekly series of shows. So it's not like I don't know what to expect, and it's not like I can't read for people. I mean, I've been doing so for the past coming up on 2 years, making sure that I'm reading for people over the phone or over Zoom or over Skype. So And I have given advice on how to do so if you happen to be a psychic or a tarot reader or a Reiki healer or any number of things that you can be able to do your services online. You should check out that episode. Actually, let me see if I can find it over on YouTube right now so I can display it for you. I do have I don't have my headphones in, so I can't necessarily show that particular episode because then we're going to have an echo effect. Well, I know that we're broadcasting on YouTube, though. That's good to know. Hold on, let's see here. Let me search the channel. First, I'm going to share that the link to the, hold on. We're going to get a little bit of a feedback loop in 2.5 seconds, or maybe not. Oh, good. I have it already on mute. Fantastic. So I did do a Yule workshop previously before I even started the Sabbath series. So we have another one, but I will go over that information again as part of the Sabbath series here. And it was back when I was blonde. December 2019 is when I first recorded a Yule Winter Solstice workshop episode. So I'm going to go ahead and share that here to show you what the thumbnail looks like. Did it work? Hope it did. There it is. So yes, when I was blondie, that's what it looks like. So the name of it is Yule Winter Solstice and Divination Free Workshop. So that's what the thumbnail looks like, and it's available on my YouTube channel. Don't go over there right now because we will be talking about Yule in this episode live. But I did do one before, so if it sounds like a rehashing, that's because it's kind of is, but maybe I'll say something different this episode. I don't know. So there's that. And what was I going to look up? I got distracted. Let me go back to my channel. Someone remind me why I went into YouTube. Ah, yes. Thank you. Online divination. Thank you. Thank you. So how to do readings online. That's weird. I can't find it. Currently reading with reversals, love readings. Our tarot reading for the collective for the year 2021. Ooh, we should revisit that, see how that went. Freezer spells. 2020 tarot reading for the collective. That was crazy. Of course, now I'm not going to be able to find it. Maybe if I put in the date. I know it was March of 2020. March of 2020, actually. Let's see. All right, I'm going to look at the playlists and see if I can find it. But I swear I did one because I have a podcast episode on it. So Boundaries. Mercury retrograde. I can't find it. I don't know where it is. That's very strange. I'm wondering if I even put this into the playlist. I could have sworn it was in 2020. Live show, live show. Tarot cards for affirmations, revisiting the Tessera Oracle. I'm not going to be able to find it, guys. I don't know why. Very strange. Anyway, I did a podcast episode on it. You can find it. It's the Tarot by Hilary podcast. You can find that wherever you get your podcasts. I think I've propagated it, and it's only a few episodes that I've done, but for some reason I cannot find the live show, which is very weird because that's where I got the audio from the podcast. I got the audio from the live show, so I don't know why it's not showing up, guys. But we have an entire playlist of past episodes that you can go through. Not now, of course, not now. Located on YouTube and also Facebook Watch. So whatever topic that you're looking into, I may have done an episode on it already. So go ahead, check it out. And I swear I did one on how to do online readings. Maybe I should just look and see if I write phone. If I write phone, I'm going to look. Nope. That's not working either. Never mind. Let's not waste any more time. We've got a lot of stuff to cover. We've got the astrology to cover. We've got talking about Yule. And then, of course, we've got the final weekend forecast of the year 2021. So we've got a lot of stuff to cover. Let's not waste any more time. I wonder if it's going to show me the... No. Stop it. Whatever. So, Dylan Dilly's here. Hello. Nice to see you. Glad that you're tuning in wherever you are. If you're still at the office or if you're at home, love to see it. I'm glad that you're here. Okay. So if you happen to be a new viewer, welcome. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about how we structure these episodes. So these episodes happen every Friday night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, wherever you're tuning in. If you're tuning in on YouTube, if you're tuning in on my Facebook business page, or if you're tuning into my Facebook personal page, I appreciate it. There are some places where I'm not going to be able to see your comments. I think it's just my personal page that I wouldn't be able to see your comments or post comments to that. If you want to be able to interact a little bit more, then tune in on YouTube or tune in on my Facebook business page. That's the way to encourage the interaction. And I'm hoping to be setting up stuff to Twitch stream in the new year, but I don't think I have the capability to do so on my current laptop. So I'm looking into upgrading or getting a new laptop to be able to stream to Twitch or try out Twitch, because it seems interesting to me. So looking into that. So the structure of these episodes are, I start off with the astrology from the lovely AstroBiz Digest, which is created by Teresa Reed, aka the Tarot Lady. And I give you just a taste of that for the weekend for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, because if you would like to subscribe to the AstroBiz Digest, I would rather you do that than give away the entire farm. And I also want to be able to support Teresa and the work that she's doing. Honestly, the AstroBiz Digest, it's geared towards entrepreneurs and business owners, but I've also found it to be very, very helpful in my personal life as well. And you don't have to worry about understanding astrology. She gives you the astrology, and she also gives you the layman's terms as well, so that you don't have to guess at what a moon in Cancer means in the third house. You don't have to guess about that, or what a trine means, or what a conjunction means. She explains it all in her AstroBiz Digest. So start off the episode with that. Then we talk about the topic. And then after we're done talking about the topic at hand, then I go into the weekend forecast, which is either an oracle card, a tarot card, or lately I've been pulling affirmation cards from Gabby Bernstein's stuff. And I do have my hands on Super Attractor with artwork by Michaela Ezra. And I feel like I didn't pull from this one last time. I feel like I pulled from the Spirit Junkie deck, but now I can't remember. I can't remember because I don't have it to hand. Yep, it was the Spirit Junkie. So, but I wanted to pull from this one last time, but I didn't have it to hand. It was in my purse. Now I got it out of my purse so that we can use it for the weekend forecast. But this is a 52 card affirmation deck. So instead of it being an oracle card, it's like kind of an oracle, but it's more of affirmations. So yes, and Katie is confirming that it was the Spirit Junkie. Yeah, totally. See, Spirit Junkie. See, I've got both. Actually, I have 3 from Gabby Bernstein at this point because Hay House had a sale. So I'm never going to say no to a sale, especially if they have decks that are half off. So that's the reason why I got these 2, Spirit Junkie and Super Attractor. And I think the last time they had a sale is when I got the 62 card Miracles Now affirmations deck, also from Gabby Bernstein. But this one's much more wordy. It just has words with like a starry background on the back of it. These ones actually have artwork that goes along with the words. So let me put those back over here. Stop getting distracted, Hilary. We're not there yet. Which deck? Yes. So Dylan saying about the Super Attractor. Yes, this is the deck that I was using this past weekend at Yule. Very, very fun deck. We were having a lot of divination fun at our Yule celebration. And I am going to talk a little bit about Yule. That is the topic for tonight's episode. So enough. It's already 5 to 7 Eastern Standard Time. So let's really get started. First, I'm going to share the link to the AstroBiz Digest. If you would like to purchase a subscription for yourself, it's $99 for the year, and you get your astrology right to your inbox. I swear, I plan my year by it. I plan all of my stuff by it. And also, I have to get back to Teresa because I am making plans to possibly do an Instagram Live with Teresa for the new year, prior to the start of the new year. So I think that might be happening on Thursday, December 30th, just to give you guys a heads up about it. I said that I had to get back to her to make sure that I did have that time available, or at least Thursday evening available, that I wasn't like brain farting or misremembering that like I had it free when I didn't have it free. So, but I think it's going to be Thursday, December 30th. We're going to be doing something on Instagram Live for you guys. So possibly about the new year, possibly about 2022, possibly about birth cards or year cards. I don't know, but it's a little bit of a teaser for you guys. So stay tuned. I will try and announce it as soon as I know what's going on. So astrology from Teresa. Let's do it. And let me also put up this. Okay. Let me know if you all are ready for the astrology while I'm looking for it. Weekly forecast for December 13th through the 19th. And I'll give some of the overview of what's going on too. Looks like we're broadcasting okay. I always want to make sure that I'm broadcasting correctly before I continue. Okay, so Dylan says, hell yeah, awesome. And I'm also going to display the link to getting your own copy or subscription to the AstroBiz Digest. It's just thetarotLady.com/astro-biz-digest to get some of your own. And Katie says go for it, so we're going for it. All right. So there's a lot of stuff to cover overall for this week. So I'll give a short synopsis of each of those events, astrological events, before we get into the nitty-gritty of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So today, tomorrow, and Sunday. First of all, Mars moved into Sagittarius on the 13th. Which lights a million fires under all of our asses. This is a few weeks where you can step up your leadership game, speak your truth, and travel for business or pleasure. But again, be safe, everybody, when you're doing so. It's also an excellent time for taking risks. That risk might be sending in a book proposal, pitching the media, or launching a bold marketing campaign. One caveat, if you feel restless in any aspect of your business or your life, resist the urge to do something impulsive. You don't need to burn everything to a crisp, even if you've got ants in your pants. Mars remains in Sagittarius until January 24th, so we do have a few weeks of this energy. Mercury in Capricorn, also on the 13th, helps find the practical in every situation. It's an excellent transit for any activity that requires mental discipline. If you're writing a book or creating a new chorus, you have the mental muscle to keep going. It's also a fantastic time for quality communication, handwritten notes, exclusive deals, classy marketing, keeps folks wanting more. Mercury remains in Capricorn until January 2nd. It will retrograde back into Capricorn from January 25th until February 14th. So more about that when we get into January and February. Wrap up all of your writerly tasks when the full moon in Gemini arrives on the 18th. So that's tomorrow, folks. It was a beautiful full moon when I got home tonight. I was looking at it as I was driving. Nice and big and beautiful and round. And there was like a little bit of mistiness around it and perfectly silver. It was gorgeous. So full moon in Gemini, clean out the inbox, batch blog content, tidy up podcasts, send out handwritten holiday cards. This lunation is also a hot spot for taking a mental break. If you've been scattered, a medicine day for your mind will do you good. And actually, that was what I was planning to do anyway. So that's great. That lines up pretty nicely. And also, I happen to have my natal moon is in Gemini. So I'm feeling very, very comfortable with having the full moon in Gemini because I'm used to the moon being in Gemini. That's what it says in my birth chart. So Venus turns retrograde on the 19th, and that can be problematic for business and also can be problematic for relationships as well. It tends to create the perfect vibe for problem clients to show up. High maintenance types will want the floor and every exception, so you'll need to be firm. This transit can also lead to unwise spending. If your business doesn't need it, or if you don't need it personally, Don't buy it. That being said, it's suitable for collecting money owed. So send out your invoices or reminders. Venus stations direct on January 29th. So that is the overarching view of what's going on. Dylan says she's so gorgeous this evening. A half around her. Yep. A halo around her. Yes. Yep. 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 Have I mentioned how much I love my comment assistant? It's one of like the features with upgrading to my Pro Be Live. I had a standard subscription before for Be Live, and now I have a Pro version, which includes Comment Assistant and more streams. That's the reason why I'm streaming now to my personal page as well, because I can. I think I can stream up to 5 places if I really wanted to. But Comment Assistant is really, really helping to produce this. So, but yes, she is gorgeous. The moon is looking gorgeous this evening. So let us get into the nitty gritty stuff on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but that's your overall what's going on astrologically. It's a lot. It's a lot. Also, before I forget to say it, and Teresa might say it in the specifics for Venus retrograde, but Venus retrograde is not a great time to solidify your relationships. It's also really not a great time to get married if you can't help it. And I only say this because my husband and I were married during a Venus retrograde. And it just so happens that the issues that we were dealing with around the time that we got married tend to spark up, or we revisit them every single Venus retrograde. Never fails. So I'm always on the lookout when Venus turns retrograde so that I know to be on the lookout or be cautious or be very clear in my communication, because I just know it's coming. I know it's coming. And, you know, you can laugh however much you want, Dylan, but it's true. And I'm just going to drool everywhere. All right. Let us get into nitty gritty stuff. And I'm going to take down the placeholder. Okay. So Friday is clear as a bell. Write your face off, empty the inbox, send out newsletters, and make all the noise. It's also an excellent day to pitch the media. So what are you waiting for? Nail this day. Host a meeting with your team at 12:57 p.m. when the moon trines Saturn. Lay out plans for next year and celebrate all the wins of this week. Today, Friday, December 17th, is a power day for Gemini and a weak day for Sagittarius. Saturday and Sunday. Saturday starts off cloudy thanks to the Moon-Neptune square at 9:23 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Folks are not with it, and communication won't go anywhere. Give it a few hours before you hit the office. The afternoon is decent for marketing and writing, but once Saturday evening arrives, you'll want to close up shop and rest. Mercury squares Chiron at 9:35 p.m., which brings the energy vamps and walking wounded out in droves on the internet. So not worth your time. The full moon is here at 11:36 p.m. Wrap up your writing and necessary communication and call it a night. And we already talked about what the full moon means. Wait, hold on. Full moon in Gemini on the 18th. Okay. Okay. Sunday's planets aren't all that. The Cancer moon says, rest up and make this your self-care day. Venus stations retrograde at 5:36 a.m. Again, we talked a little bit about Venus retrograde. A bright spot occurs when the sun sextiles Jupiter at 7:32 p.m. This could be a nice time for business travel, sending in book proposals, or hitting the main stage. However, the moon will square Chiron at 9:45 p.m., an aspect that says, let's call it a night. So there's a lot of Chiron energy going on. We've got Mercury squaring Chiron at 9:35 p.m. on Saturday, and then we've got the moon squaring with Chiron at 9:45 p.m. on Sunday. So Saturday is a power day for Gemini and a weekday for Sagittarius, same as Friday. And Sunday is a power day for Cancer and a weekday for Capricorn. So what I like to do, yeah. Dylan says, damn, yeah. That's quite a bit of interesting energy there, right? So what I like to do is I like to open up the floor if people had a particularly difficult day on like Monday or Tuesday, or like Wednesday was a little bit weird or whatever. So I can take a quick gander at the astrology for those days and let you know why that might have been the case. So please go ahead and drop it into the chat if you want me to look at different day other than Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I don't want to give it all away because I want to really encourage people to purchase their own subscription to the Astro Biz Digest if they feel so inclined. I always like to feature Teresa's work. And let me put up the countdown widget while I'm waiting. That's from last week when we talked about Hecate. Yule Workshop in. Yeah, let's give it a minute. I can't remember which day was particularly hinky for me. I'm going to scan for myself. I feel like Monday night was a little bit ugh, but now I know why. The moon squared with Pluto and then squared with Venus directly afterwards, 6 p.m. and then 7 p.m. So it felt a bit much on Monday night. Even though it was a power day for my particular sun sign, which is Aries. So power struggles, entitled clients, aggressive trolls. Yeah. So Monday was weird for me. Monday evening was weird for me. Oh, Jesse's here. Hi, Jessica. The whole week was tiring, but that's probably the season. LOL. Yeah. And also, I don't know if you were tuned in when I gave like the overall astrological transits that were going on for this week, but it was a pretty busy week for overall transits. Mars moving into Sagittarius on the 13th, Mercury in Capricorn also on the 13th, full moon in Gemini tomorrow, and Venus retrograde on Sunday. So there's quite a bit of astrological energy going on, but it also is 'tis the one. So you may be right about that. It's not just astrology. It's also, we've got one week. We're 1 week out from the Christmas Eve. So not a lot of shopping time left, folks. Then again, I don't plan on really buying a lot for anyone because we've agreed to not exchange gifts this year because we're saving up for our next vacation, and hopefully we can actually go on vacation without being concerned about a certain pandemic going on. But we'll see. Crossing my fingers and toes. All right. Oh, so Dylan says the entire week has been crazy. Yeah, I think it was all of what I just described, and also, yeah, 'tis the season. So let us talk about our topic which is the final. Oh my gosh, is it the final? This might be the final episode in the Sabbath series, guys. Did I do all of them? Did I start with Imbolc? I think I might have started with Imbolc. Holy cow, that went over. Let me double check. I have to look at my notes on that. Sabbath series. That's not going to be it. What did I name that? All right, I'm going to have to look that up before we get into Yule. Yes, Katie, you're right. We did miss one, and I need to go back to that. So I might talk about that a little bit in the new year, and I have to remember which one it was. I think it was, I think I missed Lunasa. I don't think I did an episode for Lunasa, aka the autumn equinox, because I think I was just so tired and not having a good week. And I was just like, you know what? I'm not doing this. Let me double check that. But we definitely did 7 out of the 8. Let me look at the dates. No, we did Lunasa. We didn't do the autumn equinox. You're right. Yes, if Mercury was in retrograde in September, then yes. You were very tired around that time, and Mercury was hating on all of us. That sounds about right. That sounds about right. Lunasa or the equinox. I'm pretty sure we did Lunasa. I'm going to have to look. Not this episode, guys. We're talking about Yule this episode, but in the new year, before we do the episode on Imbolc, which is, I think, how we started. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was the autumn equinox. So, gosh. And you know what? Actually, that makes a lot of sense that we didn't do that episode. Yes, exactly. After you've had some holidays, check in then. But so for the autumn equinox, the time where day and night are equal, hence another time of balance. So I guess I was trying to establish balance. And time that emphasis is on thanks and repayment rather on clearing out and starting anew. Energies can be used for magic working on inner balance and preparing for the dark months of the winter season. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense that I was just drained and wanting to take care of myself and wanted to balance myself out, because that's exactly what that holiday is about, what that Sabbath is about. And we typically, Dylan's going to have to confirm this, but I believe we usually reunify as a coven on the autumn equinox. I think that's how it's been falling. We used to do it on Lunasa, but then it just moved very naturally into the autumn equinox. So Dylan, just correct me if I'm wrong about that, but that sounds about right. And that also might explain why I didn't do an episode on it, because, you know, a lot of shit happening. And so that usually falls on the 21st of September. So I'll do a separate episode on that just to round us out with the 8. But tonight is not for the autumn equinox. We are talking about the winter solstice. And Dylan has confirmed on the equinox, yes. So that explains it. Not that I'm making any excuses for it. So we are talking about Yule, and I'm going to go ahead and switch out my heading here. So we are talking about Yule, aka the winter solstice, and I'm going to be going back to my trusty guidebooks and also recommended reading if you would like to look into it or read these things for yourself. I always want to give you enough information so that I can spawn your own research, because I'm not going to give you all information. I'm not going to be the entire sole source of information. I always want to give you enough so that you can go ahead and do your own research if you feel so inclined. So the two sources that I've been getting information on the Sabbats, and of course, from my own personal experience as well. But here are the two books that I've been referencing. One is The Real Witch's Craft, Magical Techniques and Guidance for a Full Year of Practicing the Craft by Kate West. And we do have the Wheel of the Year, or the 8 Sabbats, right on the cover in gold foiling. Very pretty cover. But it shows all of the 8 Sabbats of a pagan year. So we have Yule, or the winter solstice, right down here. And then the counterpart to that is Litha, or the summer solstice. And you can see the, I guess, colloquial term, and then the solstice term right there. And then you've got the equinoxes on either side. So you've got Ostara on one side, and you've got the autumn equinox on the other side, because I no longer call the autumn equinox Mabon, because that is something different entirely. And Dylan says, "Oh, I need that book." You're more than welcome to borrow it. And look. Clearly, I've been referencing it. And actually, I picked up this copy. I think the first time my husband and I went to Woodstock, we got it at the bookstore nearby. And actually, I think he bought me this book, and he also bought me these earrings as well, which are Rainbow Moonstone, which are my go-to earrings. I love Rainbow Moonstone. Caution, though. If you wear Rainbow Moonstone, try not to wear earrings and a necklace and a bracelet, and that, like, a little bit will do you for Rainbow Moonstone. If you wear too much of it, sometimes you get a little bit spacey, or at least I do from my own personal experience, and I'll usually be like, oh, okay, why am I feeling like a space cadet right now? It's because I'm wearing too much Rainbow Moonstone. Now I'll usually take off a couple of pieces and feel a lot more grounded. So, and I don't know why you're laughing, but of course you're welcome. You're welcome to borrow it. So that's one reference material. And then the other reference material I have is Craft, How to Be a Modern Witch by Gabriella Herstick. And this is the UK version of this book, hardcover. I believe in the United States, it is renamed to Inner Witch, if I'm remembering correctly, but it's the same book. I just like this one because I like the hardcover, and I'm not trying to judge a book by its cover, but I just liked the cover better. But it has really good stuff on the inside too. So good, I'm glad. So Katie says, I was going to say, even you speaking of Rainbow Moonstone, I felt spacey. Yeah. And I don't know if you noticed, but I'm not wearing my psychic mala, which I usually wear when I'm teaching or when I'm doing readings. It's usually my physical sign that, like, I'm open for business. But I think my psychic mala is on my altar right now, but that is entirely covered in Rainbow Moonstone ametrine, which is a combination of amethyst and citrine, and I think fluorite, if I remember correctly. So that's powerful stuff, but that has rainbow moonstone in it as well. So sometimes even the combination of my earrings and that psychic mala is too much rainbow moonstone. So fair warning. It's good stuff though. That's usually why I kind of combo it with my labradorite. So I've got moonstone and labradorite. It feels very grounding, but I'm still able to, access my intuition. Also, I have my smoky quartz here as well to ground me and protect me. So anyway, so these are the two books that I'm using as reference materials, and then also my own personal experiences from Yule, and also what our coven does, how we celebrate Yule. And actually, I'm really glad that it fell in such a way that I'm teaching about Yule tonight instead of maybe last weekend, because Yule usually falls on December 21st, if I'm remembering correctly. Let me look. Yeah, usually around the 21st of December. So it's coming up. If you want to take some of this information and celebrate accordingly. But our Yule for our coven happened to fall this past weekend because that's just how it fell, and when everybody was available. And I'm glad, because now I can bring some of that information about how we celebrated to you guys, because we already did. We already celebrated Yule. So Katie says, I feel like I would need smoky quartz in my shoes to keep my feet on the ground. That's true. You can also use, I like to use Van oil and put it on the soles of my feet and also the tops of my feet. And that helps to really like ground me. Don't know what it is about it. I don't know what's in Van oil, but it has this kind of like lemony, lemongrass, citrusy smell to it, but it really helps to ground. So I think smoky quartz in your shoes might be a little bit hard to walk on, unless of course you find a flat piece. So Dylan says, I'm so excited to get to watch this live as well. Me too. And also you can chime in if I'm forgetting anything. So let me know. Dylan, by the way, everybody is my bestie. And also she's the high priestess of the coven that I'm in. So she would know if I'm missing anything or forgetting anything about our Yule celebration that we just did. So Jessica says, I'm hosting a dinner for Yule, would love inspiration. Well, you're going to get it. That's the whole purpose of tonight's episode. And Katie says, makes it so much better to be on the live show. I agree. That's why I always encourage people to tune in live. That way they can ask their questions, they can participate. And also it's almost like you're asking questions on behalf of the people that are going to be watching the replay. And of course, you're more than welcome to put in the comment section after, we've recorded live, any questions that you might have left over from watching the replay. But then I can't answer you on the video. So I have to kind of answer you in the comments, or take that comment and address it in the next episode, which I'm happy to do too. But I don't know, there's something about the energy of being alive, and that's the reason why I've been doing this for over 2 years, and it seems to be working because you all keep on watching. So, all right, what Kate West says about Yule. So Yule is the 21st of December, the winter solstice. This marks the moment when the days begin to lengthen and the nights to shorten again. So yay! It is the time of the rebirth of the sun. Whilst in many parts of the northern hemisphere the temperature is still dropping, this is nevertheless a time of reborn hope and optimism. The energies of this festival can be used in magic for changing entrenched habits and attitudes. A remnant of this can be seen in the New Year's resolutions, which are made today. And by the way, I usually don't make resolutions. I talked about it a little bit, I think, on the last episode. But I don't really do resolutions anymore. I do more affirmations and manifestations and changing of habits. But it's like, I don't know, just the word resolutions, it's just not sexy. It's just not appealing. And also it feels like something that I'm punishing myself into doing instead of doing something to please myself or to make me feel joy. So I'm trying not to punish myself into change. I'm trying to find joy and pleasure in change, which is something that I've been learning a little bit from being in, having a membership to the Vortex, which is hosted by Gala Darling. And also I'm going to be doing more tapping, and it's like EFT tapping certification, but it's with her and her method of doing it, which I kind of call power tapping. And I'm not one for necessarily certification, especially certification for like tarot stuff, mostly because, actually, I'm not going to talk about it right now. I'll probably do another episode in the new year talking specifically about tarot certification and why I'm probably never going to advocate for tarot certification, just because it feels very who watches the Watchmen kind of feeling regarding certification. And there has been no client I've ever had that has asked to see my papers about reading tarot. That's not to say that I don't pursue education or I don't take classes. Of course I do. I take classes. I learn from different teachers. I read different books. But I am not one for methodology or doing a certain person's way of reading tarot. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just like not locked in that way. And also I've been reading tarot for too long that I'm set in my ways, and I probably would end up getting into an argument if I ever attempted to really be certified in somebody else's way of reading tarot. It just would not work. However, for emotional freedom technique and tapping, that's something that I looked into, and I feel very strongly that I want to work with that methodology and talk to you guys about it in the new year. I'm very excited about that. It hasn't started yet. So anyway, so you've got Yule. So Yule kind of, since Yule falls, or the winter solstice falls on the 21st of December, it kind of has the Yuletide celebrations kind of trickled their way into the secular New Year's celebrations, which makes a lot of sense, right? So that is what the Witch's Craft says about the winter solstice. And by the way, it is the winter solstice and Yule happening in the northern hemisphere. In the southern hemisphere right now, you've got the cross-quarter celebration. So they would be celebrating the summer solstice, or Litha, right now. So remember to celebrate with the seasons. Otherwise, it might not make a lot of sense. Any questions so far? Let me know. I'm going to hydrate myself before we go on to craft. And as always, I encourage people that are watching live to put in what they do for their own Yule or winter solstice celebrations, because honestly, that's how we all learn. That's how we all grow. And you might find that somebody has a particularly beautiful or resonant practice that you want to try out. I'm sorry if you guys are hearing crunching and shuffling. My husband's eating pistachios right now. I don't have headphones in, so everyone can hear everything. It's okay. They just hear you. They might hear you crunching or opening up the pistachios. So Yule, the winter solstice. So it falls roughly on the 20th to the 23rd of December. Winter is coming, but really. Yule represents the transition into the season, marking the longest night of the year and the beginning of the waxing year, where the sun's light starts to increase. The winter solstice has been celebrated in some form or another across the world for thousands of years. Stonehenge Circle is oriented to frame the winter solstice sunset. The winter solstice is a time for us to talk to our shadows, for us to lie in the darkness and talk to anything we've left behind. It's a day when we can honor the hurts we home in our souls and transmute them to lessons and medicine for the coming year. It's an invitation to turn shadows into light. I really like that. That's beautiful. So for decorating, and I know that Jessica said you're hosting a dinner for Yule, so you want inspiration. Here's some inspiration for decoration. This is decorating of an altar, but you can also decorate your dinner table, decorate your living space or where you're going to be hosting. Pine cones, herbs like mistletoe, holly, evergreen, ash bark, thistle, white and silver candles, heirlooms or talismans that connect you to your ancestors, a Yule log, and the Death Tarot card. I always like that association with the tarot cards because, I mean, obviously, hello, Tarot by Hilary live. Clearly, tarot is my main squeeze, and I always try and bring things back to tarot. But tarot can be such an easy way to connect with the energies of the season or the solstice or the equinoxes, because you have basically 78 cards with which to do things or decorate or put things or draw inspiration from. And honestly, using the Death Tarot card, we know death as transformation. We also know it as possibly a dark card, but it's usually the dark before the dawn. So it makes a lot of sense for the Death Tarot card to be here. But if you want to use a different tarot card, it's just a suggestion. You can always use the sun as well. Usually I will put the sun on my altar for the summer solstice, but since the summer solstice is the cross quarter to the winter solstice, we're honoring the return of the sun, the return of the light, the lengthening of the days, because it's the darkest night of the year. But after that, you've got the waxing year. You've got the return of the light. Okay, so Dylan has to run. Can't check on our Yule celebrations, but we'll watch the rest later. Sounds good to me, but it's all good. You can correct me in the comments if you'd like. Okay, so non-ritual ways to celebrate: spending time near a fire, read your tarot. It's honestly a great it's a great time of the year for like spooky, scary stories and also divination. And I mean, honestly, a lot of the Sabbats or the rituals or the celebrations, it's a great time for spell work, and it's a great time for divination. Many of them are great times for divination, but you don't necessarily have to work spells. You can just honor the season or honor the energies of the season, because sometimes you just don't want to cast a spell. Sometimes you just want to honor what the energies are, or what the energies are you're feeling inside of yourself too. So read your tarot, do your divination, make mulled wine, play outside, buy yourself or loved ones gifts. There is a suggested ritual in here, which requires fire. So you need a fireplace, cauldron, or fireproof bowl, paper and pen, herbs like rosemary, rue, or cinnamon, Palo Santo or sage, a lighter or a match. You need a safe place to light an open flame. If you don't have a fireplace or a fire pit, you can do a cauldron or fire-safe bowl. You can take a ritual bath. with the salt, rosemary, and rue to help ground you, keep you centered, protected. Cast your circle, write down on pieces of paper whatever it is that you want to let go of in the next 6 months, like a toxic relationship, bad living situation, negative habit. And also, this is a suggestion. You don't necessarily have to make it very witchy or very spellcasty or very pagan-y, but you could probably do this for your dinner as well, Jessica, if you want to, is to have, the pieces of paper and maybe light a fire or have it outdoors to light those things, ripping up the pieces of paper, placing after writing down what you want to let go of or what your guests want to let go of, writing it down, ripping up the paper and placing the pieces in the fireproof bowl, asking for guidance and messages from spirit, lighting the paper and gazing at the flame. So you've got a little bit of divination going on in there as well. As you're gazing at the flame, knowing that as this paper burns away, it's releasing your attachment to any old unhelpful patterns of behavior. And then you can sprinkle the herbs that you used, possibly in your bath or that you've burned. You can sprinkle the protection herbs like rosemary, rue, and cinnamon over into the fire, and imagine the energy accumulating from the burning papers as a cone of power extending from the base of your circle and tapering up over your head. This is where you're releasing your magic and energy into the universe where they can do their work. And sense the energy leaving you until you feel settled and grounded again, and then close the circle and center yourself. And toss the cooled ashes to the wind as an offering to the universe. Again, be safe while doing so. Be safe while working with fire. You want to make sure you have water on hand just in case it gets out of hand. And you want to make sure you're not wearing your fancy outfits with long sleeves or whatever. Just be safe when you're working with fire. Take it from a witch. You always want to be safe. So that is the winter solstice. Now, I want to revisit the myth of the changing seasons. There's also different individual stories and myths for each of the festivals, which you might like to research further. So there's different rituals, stories, myths for Yule and winter solstice, as with anything else. But the changing seasons, or the changing seasons, is the myth of the god and goddess representing and mimicking the earth's changing seasons, dying in winter and being reborn each spring. There are various manifestations that represent the forces at work. Some choose to honor these archetypes as deities. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because during our coven celebrations for Yule, we typically give honor to the Oak King and the Holly King in our coven, or in our, basically not necessarily just our coven, but also our greater pagan community that we've established. We honor the energies of oak and holly, and then in their many different forms, and it could be the Oak King, the Oak Queen, the Oak Queer. So we tend to not label them as king, queen, queer, or it's whatever that person is feeling, the thread of that energy. So oak, god of forest and earth, the Oak King rules the waxing year and defeats the Holly King at the winter solstice. He rules from December, Yule, until June, midsummer. The Holly King, a woody version of Santa Claus, the Holly King is the god of the waning year who defeats the Oak King at midsummer. He rules from June to December. So, and then goddess, at Yule, the goddess gives birth to the sun god. So we usually refer around Yule time as that child of promise, the child of promise, the child of light. So you can see slightly where the celebration of Christmas comes from. And historically speaking, if Jesus was indeed a real historical figure, most historians say that he was born in the summer, not necessarily the winter. So we do celebrate Jesus's birthday, but it's a story, it's a mythos. So we're really celebrating at Yule that child of promise, the coming of the light, the rebirth of the light, the return of the light. Does that make sense to everybody? Hopefully, I'm not offending anybody by saying that. But then again, if I'm offending you by saying that, you're probably watching the wrong video. So at Yule, the goddess gives birth to the sun god. At midsummer, she meets her son and consort, and they embrace so completely that their love mimics death. The sun god, according to the myth that threads through the seasons of the year, the sun god becomes the lover of the goddess, thereby fertilizing the earth and bringing it back to life in summer. At autumn equinox, he becomes known as the Lord of the Shadows in preparation for the darkness of winter. So, don't take this as gospel. Tweak accordingly, according to your personal beliefs. And also acknowledging the seasons. You know, there are secular ways of honoring the seasons without getting all deity based, because I know that there are some viewers that watch this mostly to celebrate the seasons and not necessarily are deity centered. Sabbats are high and holy days for the witch when the atmosphere is charged like electricity for magic, manifestation, and reflection. The 8 Sabbats form what's known as the Wheel of the Year. These include the equinoxes and the winter and summer solstices, as well as the days falling halfway between these, which are known as cross-quarter days. All right, any questions about that before we move into some of our, or my coven's way of celebrating Yule? Because I've kind of covered a lot just by referencing these 2 places. No, yes, maybe so. Oh, I also really like to reference Rebecca Campbell, who wrote Light is the New Black and Rise Sister Rise. And she also has a couple of decks, a couple of oracle decks that I've used for weekend forecasts here on this particular broadcast or series of episodes. So she's got the Work Your Light Oracle and the Starseed Oracle as well. And I think I'm not sure when her newest book has come out yet or is coming out, but her newest book is going to be Letters to a Starseed, if I'm remembering correctly. I don't know if it's out yet. Could be wrong. Nice. Okay, so Katie says, no comment from me. I like what I was hearing. And Jessica said, ready to hear about your celebrations. Awesome. Okay, so let me see if I can find Rebecca Campbell's. I'm sure she wrote something about Yule or the winter solstice. What is going on? Samhain, spiritual gift ideas. Nothing about Yule yet, but that's okay. I'm going to move into what I actually do. So, so for Yule this year, we had And you can go back and reference the previous episode of the Sabbath series, of which this is a part of, for Samhain, because we ended up having a very intense Samhain celebration, which went on for, I think, over 2 hours, because Hecate wanted to talk to everybody, and Hecate um, came through in a form of not necessarily divination, but connection to deity that we do called trance prophecy, where a trained seer will take the chair and will bring through a deity. In this case, for Samhain, we brought through Hecate, and Hecate typically has a lot to say to everyone. so, um, so this Samhain was no exception. She wanted to say a lot to everyone. I finally had to make an executive decision and be like, okay, this is going on for a very long time. I have to think about the seer. And not everyone was able to get individual messages, but I'm sure everybody got what they needed, you know. But it was a quasi-public ritual that we did, and it was just very energetically intense. And so for Yule, we again made Yule semi-public because we want to make sure that everyone's attending is vaccinated, that everyone is safe, that we do have immunocompromised people in our group, both in our smaller coven group and then also in our larger public circles that we run. So we want to make sure everyone's keeping safe. So we kind of have to, make our rituals semi-public, semi-private, just to make sure everybody, we can control it a little bit more. But it turns out that the people that were invited, like there were a lot of maybes, and it ended up being a very quiet, basically coven only Yule that we did, and it was just so what we needed, and it just happened to work out that exact way. We originally had a lot of plans. We were going to do this, and it just ended up being just us, and we had the best time, and it was just so nurturing, and it was just so fulfilling, and it was a little bit silly as well. And one of our coven's tenets is about sacred silliness, where there's respect there, but there is also time to be fun. And as long as it's respectful and you're being respectful, and you're being and you have the best intentions in mind, there's nothing wrong with having fun and having pleasure in sacred space. I mean, I think part of the charge of the goddess is all acts of love and pleasure are my rituals. So what we did for our Yule celebration was a couple of things. We decorated the altar with I think pine branches or a pine bough. We had a Yule log, which was a log that has holes bored into it for candles. I think we had white and red candles that were like pull-out style candles, and sacred colors as well. The specific colors for Yule are usually red, green, gold, white, silver, sometimes purple as well. And then we also had a branching or a pine bough that we had over the altar, that we got strips of cloth in those colors: red, gold, purple, green. And we ripped up some strips, and we basically did a style of, sometimes we'll do a branch and sometimes we'll do a little tree, and we'll put wishes on the tree or manifestations for what we want coming in the new year. And we will take those strips, whatever colored cloth we feel so inclined to, and we take it in our hands, and we either whisper our intentions into it, say them out loud, or sing them into it, or just think them into it, or breathe them into it. And then we will tie them onto the tree or the branch. And those will be our manifestations for the coming year. So that's one of the things that we do during winter solstice. Um, we also had our battle between the holly and the oak, and it was rather silly. And we usually do names out of a hat. Whoever is feeling the energy or wants to put in their name for one or the other or both. And even if their name is not picked, that doesn't mean that they can't cultivate those energies. So for holly, it is about what are you putting aside, what are you learning to let go of, and for oak, it's what are you sustaining, what are you growing, what are you incubating over the winter months? Um, so you can use those energies whether or not you're selected to be holly or oak. So we had for this particular year, they were selected out of a hat, and usually it's, if I'm meant to be holly or oak, I'm going to put my name in and let spirit decide, or let deity to decide. And then once they were selected, we had them almost do a little bit of homework before the Yule celebration, where they had to research the different stories about the holly and the oak and come up with their own sense of what this interaction was going to be. Is it going to be a battle? Is it going to be um, a dance battle, or a rap, or a one-upsmanship, or a laying down of arms from brother to brother? And there's been all sorts of different holly and oak battles or interactions that I've seen over the years, and working with the people that I've been working with, both in my coven and also in my previous coven. And this year was just hilarious. It was just so wonderful. Oh, and somebody, Katie is saying perfect energy alignment. Yes, it was something that we really needed. We needed it to be fulfilling and recouping, and also kind of silly as well. So this year, they did a fantastic job, the two people that were selected, and it ended up being almost like medieval times. Um, where we pulled out the table, and so we all sat down around the table, and we had our food, and typically we also eat and fellowship as well. And it ended up being the floor show. And each of us prepared, one of us prepared a plate for the holly, one of us prepared a plate for the oak, so that after their battle, they could feast, they could come back to the table and feast with us. But it basically turned out that it was like the floor show, where we were all eating, we were all saying huzzah, and we were all encouraging them, and it was like a little bit of a battle of wits. And then it started to be like a drawn out fight with fake daggers and swords. So there was sword fighting going on as well. Yeah, it was pretty fantastic. And of course, Dylan and I were sitting there egging them on, and it really did feel like, I don't know if you're familiar with the movie The Cable Guy with Matthew Broderick and Jim Carrey, where they're basically in medieval times, and he does like I think it's a reference to a Star Trek episode where he's like, hurrah, hurrah. I started to do that as they were. So it was really silly and really chaotic, but still intentionally done sacred silliness, and honoring the season and the laying down of arms, and the basically the acceptance of, here's the waning year, here's the waxing year, this is the season, these are the energies, and acknowledging those energies and acknowledging the season, and also what we needed as a group too, because it can be a lot to put on these rituals in a quasi public space, and sometimes need something for us to fulfill us, to sustain us. So we did that. Yep, it was lots of fun. And then they came and they sat and they ate. And we had a little bowl of water that was charged and blessed with some oils. I think Dylan used the Snow Queen oil, and I don't know what else. I don't know what else she used, but it smelled incredible. And so if we had our divination tools, I actually sprinkled a little bit of that water on the tops of my divination tools. I anointed myself at the third eye, the throat chakra, the heart chakra, a little bit behind the neck as well. Just getting the energies of the season. And I think I put a little bit of it on the cloth. And after we ate, we did we did the manifestation of the cloths and put our energies into it and put those up there. But it was very almost casual in nature. It was a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more free form. And then after that, we did our magical gift exchange, which is almost like Secret Santa. And then I believe it's the holly that is kind of quasi the pagan Santa Claus, energetically felt around the gifts. And I think we have like a maximum amount that you can spend on it, but it's usually a magical gift in nature. And you don't know who you're getting it for. It's not like you're purchasing it for a specific person. You're basically giving it, and whoever brings something to give will get a gift in return. And so the holly energetically feels their way and selects the gift that they give out to each person. And it usually ends up being completely in alignment with not necessarily what the person wanted, but what the person most needed. So one person got, I think, an oracle deck, and I was like, ooh, which oracle deck is that? Of course, I had it. So I was just like, yeah, I know, that's a really good one. And and so we did a little bit of divination with it. I happened to get a saging feather, a leather-bound book, and a set of runes, which is hilarious because I've been working more with runes. And I can't remember what other people got, but it was just absolutely in keeping with the things that they needed. Like one person got like basically a prosperity bundle, and they got like money drawing incense and a rose of Jericho, and just a bunch of different things that were like made for prosperity. So pretty fantastic. And so we did that, ate a little bit more, and we were going to tell scary stories because that's another thing that happens around Yule, but we just didn't, because we just didn't. We also had clementines and cloves and toothpicks to do pomanders. So each of us took one home because we just didn't happen to do it. We were planning for more people, and then it ended up just being us. But that's something that you can also do, is the orange pomanders. As they dry out, they release this beautiful orange citrus smell along with the cloves, which is lovely. Actually, I have mine on my kitchen counter right now. I haven't done yet, but I want to. So I can't think of anything else, but it was just such a chill day, and something that we just really, really needed as a coven, especially after such an intense Samhain. Sometimes you just need that, and sometimes you can plan it intentionally, and sometimes it's just like, you make your plans, like I was saying before at the top of the episode, and then it ends up being what spirit thinks you need rather than what you think you need. And most of the time, spirit knows better than we do. So I'm going to wait for my common assistant to show this one. Pomanders are a great project. They look and smell wonderful. Yes, they do. And actually, I saw I've been a little bit crazy on Pinterest lately, and I think I'm public on Pinterest. I think it's just Hilary Tarot. If you guys want to find me on Pinterest, but you can definitely you'll know it's me from Pinterest. I have like a lot of tarot stuff and witch stuff on there. And also clothing, just outfits from worn on TV. That's how you'll know it's me. But I saw this beautiful project with pomanders that happened to come up on Pinterest, and I think it's just because Big Brother is listening and watching. Um, but they had a suggestion where if you use white pins, you can make patterns using the cloves and the white pins. So it kind of gives you a little bit of a modern, cool feel. So that's a suggestion you can have or take with you if you want to make it very fancy with your decorating. Yes, exactly. Great point. What you think you need versus what you actually need. And if you do divination enough for yourself or for other people as your business, you run into that a lot. What you think you need versus what you actually need. It's very similar to the tarot telling you what you need to know rather than what you want to know. And that's also the reason why I often say with my tarot clients, I often record for my tarot clients either phone reading, Skype reading, Zoom reading. I'll usually record the session for them and send it to them because of that exact issue. Did I say what you wanted to hear, or did I say what you needed to hear? Because oftentimes they'll go back to the recording and they're just like their notes reflect what they want to hear and not necessarily what I said. So I'm a big fan of recording my sessions to make sure they go back and listen like, did I say that, or did you think I said that? Did you want me to say that? Because I probably didn't say that. Like, that doesn't sound like something I said. Then again, also, the recordings are very helpful because within about a half an hour of me giving a reading, I start to forget it. And that's what's called sacred amnesia, coined by my friend Nancy Antonucci, who is the author of Psychic Tarot, another really great book you want to pick up if you want to read tarot more intuitively or really tap into your intuition. Sacred amnesia is very, very helpful for me because the messages are for you, not for me. And if I retain them, then I can't do my job as a tarot reader as well, because objectivity is very, very important for tarot reading. So I will stop and get down off my high horse right now about that. So any other questions or how you celebrate Yule or the winter solstice, please go ahead and put it in the chat. I'm looking at the time and I see we're about an hour and a half into the episode, and I'd love to wrap things up soon. But if you've got a thought, now is the time to make it. I'm going to go ahead and put up my countdown widget. And we'll get into the weekend forecast in about a minute. And my tummy is rumbling because I have not had dinner yet. That's probably the reason why my husband's snacking on pistachios. Trying to think if I have leftovers. I think I have pasta with meat sauce for leftovers.
You also have that sandwich. Sandwich bar last night.
That's right. Oh, I'm going to go for that. Because it basically is like a Thanksgiving dinner on a panini. Unless, of course, you want to have it, if that's intriguing to you. Is it intriguing to you, or do you want to just get pizza?
It's also a possibility.
You know I'm still recording, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is how you know it's live, folks. We're planning out our dinner plans because it's 8:06. I'm hungry. I am hungry. Oh, yes, candles. Oh, boy. Yeah, I'm a big candle and crystal person, so I find that I use certain smells for certain times of the year. Yeah, let's talk about the smells. Let's talk about the herbs and the smells and everything. So, Snow Queen, which is the oil that Dylan used in the basically anointing oil, winter solstice oil, had a definite sense of like pine, I think. So, there's the pine smell. There's a little bit of like, I guess, smoke fire to it. And also, I've got to say about Bedazzled Witchery. I don't know if she has any candles though in stock right now. She is on Etsy. I swear by her candles. I'm a little bit obsessed. I basically have next to my altar. I have a bunch of her candles. Like I can't stop. It's very, very bad. I don't know if she still has any stock though. So don't yell at me. Don't yell at me if there's no stock left. I ordered from her and I got I don't want to burn it because it's so beautiful and it smells so nice, but it's called Rappatini's Daughter, Poison Garden. Um it's gorgeous. And it's in a cauldron shape. Yeah. Nope. They're all gone. She makes smaller batches. She's a one-woman show. But some of the pillars that she's done, amazing. And she's done Krampus candles, which definitely has this smokiness to them. She has done Yule candles, Samhain. Actually, I have a Samhain candle that I didn't even burn for Samhain. But yeah, wonderful, wonderful. And clove too, yes. So let's talk about smells. Let's talk about the smelly smells. Jessica is commenting, both of those options sound good. I need dinner too. Well, you're on the West Coast, so right? I think you're 3 hours behind. Katie says pine is one of my favorites. Frankincense is another. Simmer pots. Yes, that's a good idea too. I don't do simmer pots just because I'm kind of a klutz and I'm afraid I'm going to like burn the house down possibly. So I'm safest with candles or incense. And also like this is one of the joys in my life is moving out or moving in with my husband is like now I can burn my candles without my mother freaking out about me burning the house down or not liking incense or the smell of incense. I would have to like take a towel and wrap it up and put it under the eaves of my door so that I would like not have the smoke whiffed out to her because she just hated the smell of incense and also she was afraid I was going to burn the house down. And I know it sounds like I was smoking something different than incense, but I wasn't. Simmer pots, it's cinnamon, clove, and star anise or anise. Yeah. Cinnamon, clove, star anise. Yeah. Star anise is a very Yule scent, and clove and cinnamon as well. Sandalwood. Yeah. Sandalwood I use all year round, probably because they are good for meditation. Yeah, sandalwood is excellent. I love the smell of sandalwood. I also use Palo Santo a lot. Um, in fact, I have to look and see where I put my new stick of Palo Santo. I've got about like 3 good chunks of Palo Santo right now because my friend and like basically my coven sister is originally from Ecuador, and so I'm very very careful as to where my Palo Santo comes from because you want to make sure that it's ethically sourced. And I know when I'm getting a stick from her, it's she's she's got the right track ethically sourced. So I'm a little bit spoiled with Palo Santo. I've got the in. But I love that because it has like this very elevating cleansing quality to it. I almost prefer using Palo Santo instead of sage or white sage. Again, you also have to be careful about where you're sourcing your sage from. What else? What other scents do we associate with Yule? I feel like I'm missing one. Definitely the clove. Love the smell of clove and cinnamon. Cedar as well. I know I'm forgetting one. Oh, I forgot something else that we do during Yule. So we usually get little like the emergency candles or little white taper candles, and we light those candles off of the altar candles, and then we take our turns lighting each other's candles and giving a message to that person about light, about the light within themselves, and to remember the light within yourself, especially during during Yule and during the winter months, because it doesn't feel that way sometimes. It certainly does feel, it's like, oh no, it's darker, it's not getting lighter, but that's not true. I mean, for the solstice, on the 21st, around the 21st, the light is going to come back. The days are lengthening again. It's very subtle at first, but you will see it if you notice, if you observe it, if you make time and space to notice and observe it. But this is part of the reason why we do light the candle and remind everyone of the spark within themselves, because sometimes it can get dark and lonely and isolating in the winter, and we have to remember that this time of the year and this season, like, why is there snow? The snow actually has a purpose of preparing the ground and the earth and the soil for the spring. And actually, that snow is a blanket that helps to incubate the ground for more fertile soil. And actually, the minerals from the snow absorb into the ground and create better, more fertile soil. So all of it, all of the season, there's always a reason for the season, even if we can't see it, even if it's not obvious to us. But that's part of the reason why we do light those tapers and give those messages of hope, to remind ourselves. And then we have people take those candles home with them, keep it burning and remembering that light, and then either snuffing it with their fingers or remembering that, and blowing out the candle, and then bringing that home with them for when there are the dark days of the winter. They can then light that taper and remember that moment of the Yule ritual in which someone told them that they have light, they have joy, they have resources, they have supports. It's a very powerful thing. And I have kept basically all of my tapers from all of the Yule celebrations, and I keep it over in my candle corner next to my altar. I'm going to show you that right now, actually. I mean it. And then we'll move into the weekend forecast. Do, 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 do. So this is actually a piece of pottery that goes with my sugar bowl. It's actually a creamer that stacks on top of a sugar bowl. But I put my tapers, my Yule tapers or winter solstice tapers in it, to remember to light things off of these tapers, because it's the symbology, it's the ritual, it's the remembrance, and we do this every single year. So I swear I'm not a pack rat. I want to use all of these Yule candles until I've gone through all the usage because it is the light and the hope of every single person that's lit these candles, and I have lit candles then in turn. So, and every year, when you do that repetition of ritual, it just strengthens and it becomes this legacy of magic, and lineage of magic that you can bring to the rest of your community, that you continue to strengthen and grow. Does that make sense to everybody? All right. I think that's it. I don't think I have any more to talk about for Yule. It was a lot. I'm going to put my candles over here. Please don't fall. Actually, I'm going to move it over to here instead so that I'm not courting disaster, as it were. There we go. All right, is everybody ready for the weekend forecast? Final weekend forecast of the year 2021. I just want to remind everybody of the schedule. So this is, in fact, the last, I'm going to wait for that to pop up before I continue. So Katie says it was excellent. Each time you tell us something more, it's great. Awesome. Yep, because that's right. We do have, so if you want to learn more about Yule, I might have said something different last year when I started this up, or started off the Sabbath series without realizing that I was starting off the Sabbath series. So I probably said something very different back when I was blonde. So yeah, last year or 2 years ago. Hard to remember, folks. Time is strange. But you can check out that episode, and you can also check out the replay of this episode once we're done. And of course, any of the other episodes that we have filmed over the last 2 years, they're available on YouTube and on Facebook Watch. So many different episodes, many different topics. Sometimes me reading from The Blue-Nosed Witch by Margaret Embry, sometimes talking about spirit boards or charm casting. It's all a little bit different, and it's usually by popular request, topics that you want to talk about. So just a reminder of the next time. So Friday, December 3rd, we talked about the scheduling the episodes. Last week, we talked about Hecate, which was the first episode of the newly minted Goddess series by popular request. And then today was Yule, the final Sabbath series, though we do have to revisit the autumn equinox. So I'll do that in the coming year. Talk a little bit about that. So I want to wish everybody a happy holiday. And the first show of 2022 will be on Friday, January 7th, where we'll be talking about which episodes we want to schedule for the month of January. We're probably going to be talking about manifesting. We're probably going to be talking about not necessarily New Year's resolutions, but probably affirmations and manifestations, and you don't always have to wait until the new year to start something new. So, but that will be Friday, January 7th of 2022. That's weird. And just a reminder, this is the last episode of 2021. So I wish you good holidays for next Friday, which is Christmas Eve if you're celebrating. And then the Friday after that is New Year's Eve. Oh my goodness. So Katie is saying, yes, please bring on the forecast for the rest of the year. Well, I mean, that's a lot of pressure. I'm just going to give the forecast for this weekend or the affirmation for this weekend. How about that? Best wishes for the holidays for you too as well. Thank you all so much for watching and continuing to watch every week. I really, really appreciate it. Can't do this without you guys. Otherwise, I wouldn't have an audience and I would be talking into the ether. Also, I do want to remind you, I do a podcast with Jamie Elford and Melissa Sanova. It's called Card Slingers Coast to Coast. The latest episode that we've done was, I think it was called Caught in a Reading or Stuck in a Reading, something like that, where we give a few freezing in a reading. So that's episode 46, y'all. I can't believe we've recorded that many episodes, and actually more than that. So that came out on December 9th, and that might have been I'm not sure if that's the final episode of the year or we're releasing something new next week. Let me look. Should be next week. So on Christmas Eve, December 24th, should be the next new episode and final episode of the Card Slingers Coast to Coast podcast of the year 2021. So I don't remember which episode that's going to be. We record a bunch of them. 46? Oh my goodness. But we will be recording more new episodes in the new year. I think we're recording with Melissa next week, if I'm remembering correctly. So continue to subscribe to Card Slingers Coast to Coast. You can find that wherever you get your podcasts. I might be recording another podcast too. So I'm not going to say anything else about that. And I'm going to try and revisit my own individual podcast, the Tarot by Hilary podcast, because I only recorded a couple of episodes thinking I was bright and shiny and bushy-tailed and going to record more, and then I ended up recording only like 3, and I think that was back in 2020. And I don't think I recorded anything new in the last year, so that's not great. That's probably not great. So let's go for the weekend forecast, or the weekend affirmation, as it were. Let's see. So I did say that I was going to pull from Super Attractor because I really wanted to do that last week, and I ended up not being able to because it was in my purse. So I pulled from Spirit Junkie last week. This time we're going to go with Super Attractor, which is by Gabrielle Bernstein, with artwork by Michaela Ezra. Very cute, very pretty. And everyone is saying best wishes for the holidays. Thank you, Katie, and thank you, Jessica, and thank you for tuning in live. And thank you all for watching the replay if you happen to be watching the replay. So this, again, it's more of an affirmations deck than an oracle deck. When you're faced with challenges, know that you can choose a card and be offered a new plan beyond your own. Allow each affirmation to support and guide you. These messages will help you make joy your priority, believe in the universe, and have faith in the guidance you receive. These words and art are loving reminders to have fun, be well, and attract what you desire. Remember that you are a super attractor. Let's go. And I really love the back. Look at the backs. Look at the backs. All right. What do we need to know, or what do we need to affirm this weekend, or actually anytime you're watching the replay? This is applicable out of time and out of space. It's just what you most need to hear right now, what you most need to remember. New deck smell too. Gotta love that. What do we most need to know right now? I like that one. I'm gonna pull 2. Because this is a message that I kind of struggle with, or both of them I kind of struggle with. So, all right, you're getting a twofer. So the first card is, each time I choose to tune into spirit, guidance of the highest truth shows up for me. I'll say it again. Each time I choose to tune into spirit, guidance of the highest truth shows up for me. Okay. The next one is I trust that my powerful intentions combined with my faith are enough to allow my vision to become my reality. By the way, that's more, I feel like that's more pinkish rather than orangish. I don't know why it's showing up as orange on screen. I'll say it again. I trust that my powerful intentions combined with my faith are enough to allow my vision to become my reality. Not a lot of interpretation there, folks. And that's the reason why they're affirmations rather than oracle cards. This card rankles me because it's my. I have trust issues. Each time I choose to tune into spirit guidance of the highest truth shows up for me. All right, so I think combined with these two cards, we got to get quiet this weekend. And I mean, that is kind of in keeping with what I was saying about Yule as well. And to divine and to tune in and to allow spirit to lead us. And I don't know if y'all know this, but I have control issues too. Sometimes it's very hard for me to allow. So if you also have similar allowing issues, remember these two cards this weekend, and sure, remember them over the winter holidays and the new year. Yeah. I feel like that deck came for me. All right. I just want to remind everybody. Oh, crap. Jessica says, same girl, same. Yeah. They come after me too, you know. Thank you. Yes, those cards will be a test. Yep. So I just want to remind everybody, again, no new episodes next week and the week after, but Friday, January 7th, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Meet me right back here, and we will talk about what episodes you want to see in the new year for January of 2022, folks. Can't believe it. Until then, I thank you all so much for watching. Again, tuning in. You know, I can't do it without you. Really can't. So I want to remind everybody where to find me. And I'm going to go ahead and yep. Thank you for today. See you in the new year. Yes. See y'all in the new year. Want to remind you, I am Hilary, professional tarot reader, demystifying the mystical and putting you in touch with the most beautiful of gifts, your own intuition, because yes, my friends, do not argue with me. You have intuition. If you would like to book a reading with me, you can do so right down here, tarotbyhilary.com. That is Hilary with one L, except no substitutes. There's a lot of spammers and scammers on Instagram for some reason. I will never, ever, ever DM you to say, I feel called to do a reading for you. That is not me. Trust me, folks. If you'd like a book of reading with me, this is the only way to do so. And my scheduling system is Acuity. So, and if you ever have any questions, concerns, comments, you can always shoot me an email. Happy to answer you. I want to make sure that you're not ripped off. It's just something that's been happening. So, tarotbyhilary.com. I am accepting new clients, and my appointment book is open, and I can't wait to read for you if you're so inclined. So go ahead and book one. Most professional tarot readers will not solicit you to book a reading. You know, book with us. We're not going to chase you down. We usually have enough to do. Anyway, thank you all so, so much for watching. Have a wonderful winter holiday. Have a wonderful Yule. I hope this episode helped you. Have a great new year. And I will see you in the new year, January 7th. Take care of yourselves. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.